Okay, Sejal, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate this. So you've obviously been on our 12-week transformation challenge. Obviously, you've encored as well, so you've stayed on because the experience has been really good for you. So I'd love for you to share for all the other ladies out there your experience firsthand. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what was your situation like before joining us?
So going back this, so I started the program 6 months ago, over 6 months ago, close to now. And it's really difficult to remember what my situation was like because it's changed so much. But thinking back, I had a really busy job. I was doing sort of 35, 40 hours minimum a week working, commuting, two really young children, 5 and 3. So, massive demand there. My husband, who works away a lot because of his job. So trying to manage that, managing a household, living with in-laws.
Mm,
So just lots of different factors, not having a very immediate support bubble at all times for various reasons, especially because of the pandemic. We didn't have that support some of the time. So really chaotic is what I would say. Just busy. Didn't have time for anything. Didn't have time for myself. Didn't have my priorities straight. I think now looking back at that time, I probably thought I did. I thought my priority was just the kids, and I just need to make sure they were schooled and fed and watered and bathed. Um, and just made sure I got my work done and delivered at work. And that was my ultimate priority.
yeah.
So yeah, it was very, very different to what my priorities are now.
Yeah, and you probably felt now that you think about it at that time, well, how will I have even time for myself? How will I fit all of this in besides everything at that time? But now you know, obviously, that yes, you can. You absolutely can do it, and you've done it. So that's
And
amazing.
that was one of the concerns, right? So before I joined Udemy, I thought about it. I see, you see loads of things on Instagram, you see loads of things on Facebook popping up, you hear loads of friends doing all these various programs, and I just thought I could never do that. I can't commit to that much exercise. I don't even have time to pick up a book. I don't even have time to like wash my hair properly. How am I going to, fit in exercise every day?
Yeah,
Um, so that was one of my biggest worries about joining the program, was how was I going to fit this in
yeah.
without killing on top of everything I already was finding really hard.
Yeah, yeah. So that was one of your concerns. And obviously, there also would have been a concern on in terms of food as well. How are you going to fit the food aspect in? Are you going to have to literally change your normal palate to something completely that's not even you? So how did you find that in terms of still being able to enjoy your normal foods that you like, not having to stick to some diet that's not you, and then you have to go back to whatever you normally ate, which just makes it
So
unsustainable. How did you find that?
you're completely right. So the other element that I struggled in terms of a mindset was, how am I going to manage my food? Because we have a really active social life. We were eating out or seeing friends once or twice a week. Because of this erratic kind of, we're here, there, and everywhere. Sometimes we'd have food on the go or really quick meals. And how is I going to meal prep that much food? All of those things were additional concerns. How did I manage that? I didn't have to manage that. And I think that was the revelation, was that actually I didn't stop going out. I didn't stop eating in restaurants. I was still eating out once a week. I was still having the odd drink a week when I was out. And not that I was a big drinker, but I did have a glass or two when I was out. And I didn't change those things. And yet I still saw the results, maybe not as quickly as I would have had I been really strict, but I knew that that strictness wouldn't have worked with my lifestyle, and it wouldn't have been sustainable. So whilst it's taken me maybe, the extra month to get to where I wanted to get to, I've not had to change the way I'm living or who I'm
Yeah,
seeing or what I'm doing as part of the enjoyment in my life. I haven't taken that away.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
It was just understanding that if I was going out if we went to an Italian, for example, instead of having the pizza or pasta, I might have had the chicken and the veg. And so I could still socialize. No one knew I was dieting or I was on the program, and I could still live a life and have my social life as part of that. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So you could still enjoy be you basically. You could still enjoy the foods you liked. You would just, I think what it was potentially is because you had a system and you knew exactly what you needed to consume and then how much and things like that. You kind of knew if I you were able to make more knowledgeable choices and smarter choices, and you knew where that sits in the grand scheme of things. So you could then, because you've now got the knowledge, you were able to decide as opposed to someone else telling you what to do. You have the knowledge now, and you have that knowledge now for life. So,
Yeah.
like I said, so now you can either, you know what to do to accelerate it if you wanted to, or you know what to sustain it as well. Um, so it's hopefully it is something now that you have under your belt for life. It's not just a 3 6 month type of a thing. So I
Yeah.
think that's been good. And what's the process been like for you, Sejal? Just from start to finish, what's it been like in terms of the support you've received, what you wanted, you've got, um, just having that constant communication, that openness, accountability, all of that. How has all of that been for you?
It's been a really nice process. So what I didn't want from any program was complete rigidness, and I didn't want to be on a boot camp. That was something I knew I didn't want. Equally, I needed accountability because I had tried after my children for 2.5 years. To, I'll start on Monday. I'll start on Monday, and I never started on Monday. So I needed that accountability, I suppose. So, the check-ins with Joe and the nutritionist was brilliant. We just had, it just makes you accountable for doing the diary. And I have got really bad at it recently, having got to where I want to get to. But it's brilliant because actually it made you realize what you were consuming, and it made you really conscious about the decisions you were making. So before I grabbed for that biscuit, I would make sure I put it in my diary first before I ate it, because I knew what it would do to my figures. So it made that accountability, and having that check-in and having that regular point was really useful. Having the support network from the other ladies from on the WhatsApp groups, and everyone posting the pictures of their meals, it spurs you on for in terms of ideas for different meals and what you can do. You've been brilliant in terms of responding to everybody, saying a bit more of this and less of this on your plate, please, that kind of thing. So it just gives you that constant direction, I suppose, just so you're making the right calls. And it's really easy to say split your plate into a third, and you have a third of this and a third, but actually when you put a third of a plate of rice on your plate, you don't know what that looks like. And also you don't, have you packed up, have you done a massive scoop, or is it loose rice? You
Yeah.
can't tell properly. So actually having somebody to say, okay, you need to maybe do an extra egg but less of this, or extra veg and less of this, that really, I think, helps. And even just hearing your comments on other people's meals and other people's pictures gives you that unconscious learning experience. So that's been really useful.
Yeah.
As you know, on-call piece, after I finished the core program, I've started doing the PT exercise sessions with Roxy and the trainers, and I did a bit of Zumba with you before. All of those are things are great because they don't feel like boot camp. They don't feel like you're doing the exercise, but you're getting the fitness out of it. So it's been a really lovely process, actually.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. That's really, really good to hear. Because you've had the flexibility, you've enjoyed the process. So that's so important, because that also changes your mindset around the kind of food you choose and the kind of exercise you choose, just generally, because if it didn't feel like a boot camp, you don't have this subconscious thing going that eating like this and exercising like this is some vigorous thing. It's not supposed to feel like that. It's supposed to feel enjoyable and nice.
I
In a
remember
sense of
saying,
stress relief almost. And
yeah,
now you've gotten to that point where if you don't do it, you feel probably more stressed.
I remember speaking to you and to Joe time around Christmas, and I was like, oh my God, I've had 2 Ferrero Rochers, yesterday. He's just like that, So it just puts everything in perspective, that you have to be able to live life and
Yeah.
it being sustainable over the next 20, 30, 40 years versus just doing it for now. So that was a really big thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not about crash diets and just getting the numbers down for people. That's not healthy. And there's ways to do that, but that's definitely not what we're about. It's about you changing your life, and actually then it has an overall impact just even on the family, on the children, because you've changed as a person. So that's, yeah, that's really, really important. Lastly, and if anyone who that obviously you every client inspires someone else. So if you were to inspire someone else, if they're looking and they're struggling just with their fitness, with their health, whatever it might be, and they just are not taking that next step, and they know they need to, but they're just not, whatever. So what can you say to inspire them to do this for yourself?
I've seen a massive difference in myself through doing, to getting to my goal. And all I needed was somebody to get me off the sofa. You don't have to go out to the gym. I haven't been to the gym throughout this whole program. And with the weight I've lost, it's been things that are really easy to do at home. So it's not, you need to bring down those barriers in your head. And that took me a while to do, but once they're down, your exercise can be 25 minutes, and that's my exercise workout a day is 25 minutes, and that's it. It's getting your steps up. You don't have to go for a walk. Damini, you told me this recently. You don't need to get out. You can do it in the house. You can climb your stairs. You can just be more active, pace the room whilst you're watching a program. All of those things are so achievable if you bring down the barriers in your head and stop saying I can't, and it's more about how. So for me, that, I feel so much stronger. Physically, yes, my body composition's changed massively. It's
Hmm, massive,
unrecognizable.
yeah.
um, my weight hasn't dropped. I think I've lost 5 kilos, around about 5.5 kilos.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you weren't that big to start with. It was more fat composition.
but
You never were. Yeah, it's more about tone.
my composition and my tone has changed completely. But I feel stronger. I feel more energetic. I feel I have more patience with my children. I feel I don't want to sit and sit and watch TV for hours on end anymore. I want to get up. I want to go out. I want to do something.
Wow,
So, energy
amazing.
level. So, it's had such a positive impact on my life in a way I didn't think it would. So
Yeah.
I would encourage everybody to get onto your own journeys and, get mentally stronger, get more confident, and get fitter, because I think it's a benefit you just have for life then.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sejal. You've summed it up perfectly that it's not just about the physical benefit. It is almost a spiritual, emotional transformation. Because I think physically, yes, but to get the physical, you've got to also change emotionally. And when you change emotionally, it actually changes you spiritually. You said you've got a better relationship with your children, you're calmer, you're peaceful, um, because you're just feeling secure and confident about yourself, and when you feel like that, it all starts with yourself. When you feel like that, that is the emotion that you bring out within you, with everyone around you. So you've just summed it up beautifully. It's that is so important. So for anyone that is struggling, please don't struggle. Reach out. You don't need to. Um, we've been doing this for a while. And we can help you, not only physically, like I said, physically, emotionally, and whatever your barriers are, because you transcend them to get to that transformation. So there's quite a few different barriers you transcend. So thank you so much, Sejal. Really appreciate it. I'm so happy that for everything that you've achieved. I mean, you look fabulous, ready for that bikini board, that's for sure. So for the summer, so good timing. And once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Javani. Thank you.